Don't believe you can get a double exposure in camera on your Sony? Well, coming up is the moment you've been waiting for. I'll spill the beans, showing you how to unlock the double exposure game on your Sony Camera, so you can say goodbye to FOMO and hello to creative freedom. Well, there's only one workaround I found, and the way it works is like this. So basically, we're going to take a long exposure photograph. We're going to drastically underexpose that, and we're going to use a flash to expose the subject. Let me give you an example. I'm going to take an exposure of about 4 seconds. Now, that's going to give me enough time to get 2 different poses so that I get this double exposure effect. And what I'm going to do during that 4 seconds, when I've got my first pose right, I will trigger the flash. When I've got my second pose right, I'll trigger it again. So we're going to get 2 flashes during that 4 seconds, which will expose my subject correctly. Now in this case, I'm going to do a selfie. So I'm going to set my camera off remotely. If you don't know how to do that, there's a video which I'll link to up here that tells you how to connect Sony cameras to your smartphone. Now, the other things you're going to need are a speed light and a remote so that you can remotely trigger that speed light. Okay, so this is how we've got set up. So let me show you that. I've got my camera here on a tripod. I've got the flash mounted up with an umbrella in front of it. And let me talk about settings. So what I've done, I've pre-focused my camera onto me. So I've got my camera in manual because I don't really want it refocusing during my 4-second shot. And if it focuses on one of the poses, it might well not get the other right. So I've come up with a kind of average focus setting that should be right for where I'm going to sit in the frame. Now the other thing I've done is I've set an aperture that is pretty narrow because I want a wide depth of field. So I've chosen an aperture of f9. As I mentioned, I've gone for a shutter speed of 4 seconds. Now, in all honesty, I'm not going to be very sharp because whether I'll be able to hold still enough while the camera's exposing me, I don't know. But the thing that is going to be very short is the flash duration. As long as the camera can't see me when I'm moving around and it's just getting the exposure right of the when the flash goes off, I should be reasonably sharp and create the effect I want. So let's shoot the photo and see how it comes out. I'm going to have to dim the video lights here so that I can get the exposures correctly. So the video will be rather dark, but hopefully you can see what is going on. Well, perhaps not the ideal way to do it, but it does give you a solution if you're trying to do a double exposure in camera. It's one of those things, like everything else in photography, practice makes perfect, and you'll get better at it the more times you try it. Like many of you, I guess you wish that Sony would sort this issue out and actually come up with a better solution. If you're wondering what you should be watching now, maybe you should take a look at this video about how to use off-camera flash, because it's a critical thing you need to learn if you're going to try this type of photography. Actually works, I think, much better when you've got a subject and you're not trying to do it as a selfie. It's a lot easier as well. But in the meantime, go out and have some fun with that camera, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.